عليك يا أبا عبد الله بأبي أنت وأمي يا جانم بأبي أنت.
Grand Ayatullah Sayyid Muhammad Taqi al-Modaressi, Allah grant him a long life, he was asked about this and he said the following: Karbala is a university. Here this tells us something very key to the way in which we keep up that revolutionary spirit. We keep up that fervor and that spirituality of the month of Muharram and Safar. And that is that when we target the change, when we target the reform, it needs to be things that we can achieve, and it needs to be ongoing. Not that we revert back to the practices that we were doing prior to the month of Muharram, but the goals that we have set out for ourselves are continuously sought after and achieved one step after another. One of the Grand maraj'e was talking about this. He was asked about keeping up the fervor of the month of Muharram, and he said the following: Grand Ayatullah Sayyid Muhammad Taqi al-Modaressi, Allah grant him a long life, he was asked about this and he said the following: Karbala is a university. He said there are different teachers in this university, and then there is the principal of this university. He said the teachers are every one of the shuhada and the captives. The principal, of course, is the master of the martyrs, Abu Abdullah al-Husayn, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhi. And he says the following. He says, every one of the individuals from the martyrs and the captives, they teach you something specific. They are teachers in their own right, in their own areas. If you want to learn about loyalty, you will study Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salam. If you want to think about your relationship to death, you will study Shah Qasim alayhi salam. If you want to think about how you will perfect your speech and the way in which you will talk in front of others, you will reflect on Sayyida Zainab alayha salam. He said, whatever you want to learn, whatever area of development you want, knock at the door of that one teacher. Take that person as a wasila. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, ittaqallah, have this taqwa. And then he says, take a wasila, la'allakum tuflihun, so that you may become successful. Take a wasila and study that individual. Ponder upon that individual so that you know the change that you want to make in your life, the shortcomings that you have in your life. If you want Karbala to be an annual thing and go on for the whole of your year and not just 2 months, take one of those shuhada or captives as your teacher. Take their biography, take their sayings, read about them, reflect on them, and learn from them as a teacher teaches a student and a student takes from that particular teacher. Take it throughout the year. Whatever you want to be studying, take that teacher and keep Karbala at the forefront of what you are doing throughout the year. And then know that whichever number of teachers you take, 3 teachers, 2 teachers, 7 teachers over the year, know that all of those individual traits are manifested in the teacher of all teachers, in Imam himself. He is the culmination of all those things. Then he continues in his statement. He says the following. He says, let me ask you a question. He says, imagine there is a person outside, and they're on the grass, and they're playing football, or they're getting muddy, they're rolling around in the mud. They go back into their house, and then they go for a shower. When they come out of the shower, they put on fresh clothes, they put on perfume, they smell nice, they do their hair nicely. Is it conceivable that that person who has just washed the mud off for himself, got into new clothes, has now just made sure that he has perfumed himself, will that person in his right mind go back outside and start playing in the dirt straight away? No. He said, Muharram and Karbala is like this. It completely washes you from your sins. You are now perfumed with the scent of Karbala in your hearts. It is now being exuded in the practices. Which person would then go back into the filth that they came from before? He asks this question. The person who has that fervor in his heart, the fervor doesn't stop with the majlis. The majlis is not the end, it is the beginning. Their Muharram is not achieved by coming to the majlis itself. Their Muharram is achieved by taking away from the maqatil and going out into their world and not allowing themselves to go back into the filth that they previously were rolling around in. The person who does that and takes it day after day, sets for himself his targets, knows the areas of his life he wants to work on himself with, realizes it is a painful journey to change the self. It's not easy. No one claims it to be easy to break our bad habits. You will slip, we will fall, but we will dust ourselves off and take one more step again to renewing our pledge with the Imam. So long as we have that in front of us and keep going forward, not going 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. 2 steps forward, only 1 back. 3 steps forward, 1 back, until it's completely forward and no back. That's where we want to get to. And if we can do that, then truly the entire year, inshaAllah, we will keep up the fervor of what we have achieved in this first Ashra, in this month of Muharram. And inshaAllah, by the time we come around next year to the month of Muharram, Allah grant us the tawfiq, we will stand again in front of our Master and say, look at what I achieved. Look at how my community has progressed. This is the difference between who I was and who I am. And all of this was accomplished in the name of Imam al-Hussein, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhi.
سفره داره